Why is your coffee too weak? Should I say, why is my coffee too weak? Is that better than why is your coffee too weak? Yeah, I kind of like your, because my coffee's not too weak. My coffee's great. Why is your coffee too weak? This is one of the number one questions people ask when they first start brewing coffee at home. There's a pretty simple answer most of the time. One of the number one problems people have when they first start making coffee at home is that they find their coffee to be not strong enough. So when we're talking about strength, a coffee being strong or weak, we're talking about concentration, the percentage of the beverage that is dissolved coffee solids. And this is largely dependent on your coffee to water ratio. How much coffee did you use and how much water did you use? So typically, if your coffee is too weak, it means you didn't use enough coffee. You need to increase your dose. Or alternatively, you can cut back on the amount of water you use. It's kind of the same thing if you think about it. So a really helpful tool to help you dial in your recipe is the coffee brewing control chart. Ding. Can we add that in post? The Coffee Brewing Control Chart is a tool that was released by the Specialty Coffee Association, and it's based on a lot of consumer research that shows that most people like a cup of coffee that's somewhere in the middle of this chart. If you look, you see these diagonal lines that are cutting through that box in the middle of the chart. Those diagonal lines are different coffee to water ratios. So if you look, the lines that say 1:16 and 1:17 pretty much go through the middle of that box in the middle. This means that if you use those ratios, you have the highest likelihood of getting a cup of coffee that meets SCA standards. When we talk about coffee to water ratio, it's important to note we're talking about the mass of the coffee and the mass of the water. So the easiest way to measure mass is with a kitchen scale. You can get a really cheap one online for 10 to 15 bucks. You can get a really coffee specific one that has all the bells and whistles. It's up to you and your budget. But the important thing is just that you know how much coffee you're using and how much water you're using. There is a slight chance that your coffee will be too weak even if you're using the right recipe. This probably means either your grind is too coarse or your water isn't hot enough. So if you correct your recipe and you're still not satisfied with the results, you still find the coffee to be too weak, that's probably what's going on. Look, there's no one right way to make a cup of coffee. Your palate might be different than mine, so feel free to experiment and find the cup of coffee that's right for you. If you want to learn more about the SCA Ideal Cup and how to achieve it, we have a link in the notes below to a blog post that we wrote on our website. For more information about how to brew coffee with the Edkin Dripper, go to edkincoffee.com. You'll find tutorials, blog posts, everything your heart desires.